A concussion is a brain injury. People think of it as getting your bell rung or getting a ding, but the truth of the matter is that it's a brain injury. The biggest cause of concussion is getting hit to the head, but it can happen in all sorts of different ways. It can happen certainly on a sports field, a helmet-to-helmet collision, for example, but it can also happen in ways that you might not expect. For example, in a car accident, even if your head doesn't hit the dashboard or hit the windshield, just the violent moving back and forth of the brain within the skull during a car accident, for example, can cause a concussion.
It's been known for a long time that banging your head over and over and over and over again can be a bad thing.
And I remembered I hit the ground and I forgot where we were. I forgot what we were doing in the ring. I forgot what was coming next. I've been gladly exposing myself to repetitive brain trauma concussions for 19 years.
Members of the committee, this Friday night over 1 million kids will take to the football field. I'm certain that radical measures are needed for football to continue safely.
No matter what kind of helmet you build, it is a dangerous sport.
Co-captain of the Penn football team committed suicide. He had 20 areas of his brain that were falling apart that were all going to keep spreading.
I know that I've damaged my brain. I don't know where I am 10 years from now. I don't know where I am 20 years from now.
After my first concussion, every time I would do heading, I would see stars.
I was just like, oh my God, my head hurts so bad.
She didn't pull herself out of the game. She didn't tell the coach, and she didn't tell us.
I got hit from behind. People said I was on the ice for like 4 or 5 minutes. I don't even remember 20 seconds of it.
So that's your brain. How much of you are you willing to put on the line for a game?
But what's the level of acceptableness? And what's the level of reasonable reform?
If you only have 1 out of every 100 kids getting diagnosed with a concussion, you're missing them, and your kids are at terrible risk.
I might look back and say I wished I had stopped him after this last concussion. He loves to play hockey, and we love watching him play hockey.
I believe you just have to protect them as much as you can and pray.
My name is Ben Hughes.
And what sport did you play?
I played football.
And are concussions an issue in your sport?
I'd say it's an issue, yeah.
And have you ever had a concussion?
I've had a handful of concussions, yes.
And what kind of signs or symptoms did you have with the concussion?
Oh, there's all sorts. Nausea, vomiting, dizziness, some lost memory. This is the big ones I can think of right now.
Okay. And what did the coaches / trainers do to help you with your concussions?
Well, most of them probably went undiagnosed because as a player I didn't report them. But the ones that were, there was memory testing, reaction testing, and just various motor skill tests to see how well we were functioning.
All right. And do you feel like concussion awareness has increased since the time you started playing football?
It's increased a lot, yeah, because there's been concussion-related deaths in high school and going all the way up to the NFL, and it's definitely an issue now.
And how did they educate you about it?
How do they educate? They make, usually at the beginning of the season, they have a team meeting where they talk about the impacts of concussions and the signs and symptoms. It's usually about probably an hour meeting.
What's your name?
My name's Ashley.
And what sport do you play?
Soccer.
Are concussions an issue in your sport?
I think they're pretty prevalent, so I'd say yes.
And have you ever had a concussion?
Yes.
What were some symptoms that you had?
Well, when I got mine, I blacked out, and then when I regained consciousness, I think I was conscious the whole time, but then I didn't know where I was, and then I was dizzy, had headaches, couldn't concentrate, things like that.
Right. And what did the coaches and trainers do when you got a concussion?
Well, that was when I was in high school, and I didn't really do anything about it, which is not good. But
do you feel like concussion awareness has increased since you started playing soccer?
Yeah, since I've been at the university, I feel like we're taught a lot about concussions, and they're taken a lot more seriously.
How long have you been playing basketball?
About 15 years.
And have you ever suffered a concussion?
I have not.
Have any of your teammates?
Yeah, when I was in college, I had a teammate get undercut and he hit his head on the floor. Was the first thing that caught all his weight, and he suffered a concussion. I think he was forced to sit out for like 2 or 3 weeks. He was very sensitive to the light, was very dizzy, and he had to pass numerous tests in order to get reinstated to play.
What kind of precautions do you as a coach take to prevent your players from getting concussions?
We have to qualify to become a coach within the state, so we have to take tests to understand the signs of concussions, the different things that are required for us. The key thing is to make sure that we teach the players how their equipment is supposed to fit properly. So their helmets fit properly, the chin strap fits properly, the mouthpiece is molded to their mouth correctly, the shoulder pads fit, everything from the ground up is properly fit, and we just make sure that we do everything we can to let them know what the signs of concussions are as well. So we'll have trainers from professional programs come in and talk to us, let us know what the signs are. And when we talk to the players, we let them know never to lie about possibly having a concussion. If we see it on the field in any way, shape, or form, we remove them from the field. We look for signs, and we don't let them back in until they are absolutely cleared from the doctor and the trainer. And then we slowly get them back into action. We don't put them in there right away. As much as we want to win, sometimes your best player's out, their long-term health is more important than a win. So that's kind of what we do.
All right, team, let's play fair. Let's play good. No rough hitting. On 3, go Power Rangers. 1, 2, 3, go Power Rangers!
I'm not sure if it was mandatory in 2011, but I know in 2012 it's mandatory for, I believe, every high school in the country, and college and pros. And the increase of it is a challenge for players and coaches because of the nature of the testing. They take the test, they're encouraged to do their best on the test, and if they pass the test, which majority do for the first time, they get their scale score or whatever the term is, and they then will take it again at the end of the year. If there's any difference of a decrease, they're considered to have a concussion or be out until they meet their standard or surpass.
And how do you feel about impact testing?
Impact testing, it's a good test, I believe, if it's done properly.
And how would you say it's done properly?
Well, the problem with that is most athletes, if they want to, they can either make their reaction time slower on part of the test or mess some of the answers up, thereby giving them a different baseline. So then if they do have a concussion and they retook the test, then the test could come up negative
Okay.
for concussion.
And have you taken impact testing?
I have.
And were you truthful?
I wasn't completely dishonest, but there were times when I may have reacted a bit slower with that thought in mind. But for the most part, I just think I stuck to it, but I think I could have done better on it.
And do you think impact testing should be mandatory for all sports?
I think it should be. It's a good test in theory, and it should be applied.
And have you ever heard of impact testing?
Yes.
And have you ever taken one?
Yes.
And what do you think of them?
I think it's a good concept and it's good to have a baseline, but I think it may not always work 100% because every time someone takes the test it could be different.
Fisher jumping to